Welcome to Shom Machshava on the Daf. We're holding in Zevachim and Daf Memtes. In Amud Beis, the Gemara starts the long and complicated Sugiyah of Lamed min Lamed. Something that's learned in a certain way in the Midah Shatern Drashos Behem, can it teach in that way or other ways to somewhere else? And as the Gemara tells us at the end of Amud Beis, this whole discussion is only in Kodshim. In other areas of Torah, we say that Lamed min Lamed works. Even Hekesh min Hekesh learns everywhere. Except by Kodshim. By Kodshim, we don't say it works everywhere, and we have the rules that come from this Sugiyah. What is the understanding that this Sugiyah belongs only to Kodshim? Why only by Kodshim we have these limitations? So I looked all over, and I couldn't find anyone who speaks about it very clearly from a Machshava standpoint. What's the understanding? I found one current sefer that speaks about it and says some svaras, but it's not based on any svar. But maybe one could suggest the following, based on the following spikoiris. Rav Yosef Engel, in the Asvan D'Oraisa on Klal Yud Beis, he compares and equates this concept to the concept of Shana Alav HaKosov Le'akev. That by Kodshim we find that the Torah needs to repeat itself twice in order for something to be me'akev. Now, it is a discussion if this is only in Kodshim or not in Kodshim, but in some place in Shas it's clear the Torah says Shana Alav HaKosov, repeating itself, is only a din in Kodshim, and that's how Yosef Engel learns. Says of Yosef Engel, these two concepts that are in Kodshim connect to each other. The concept of Shana Alav HaKosov, something that the Torah repeat twice, is me'akev in Kodshim. You need to say it twice in order to be me'akev. And the idea of Lamed min Lamed, learning from one drasha to another drasha, that thing, not necessarily you could do that, it's only in Kodshim. These two things connect together. Now continue this line of thought. The Chidon, the Birkei Yosef, and Yerideo Sim Reisha in base, he explains the idea of Shana Alav HaKosov Le'akev as follows. B'chol Torah kulo, when the Torah tells me something, there's no lechatchila in the evet. He quotes the Tosfos in Gittin Daf Gimel on base. The Torah says, Mina Torah. If the Torah says to do something, so it's not lechatchila to do it, but the evet not. It's something that you have to do it. There's no other way around it. That's b'chol Torah kulo. But by Kodshim, Shana Alav HaKosov, you have to repeat something for it to be me'akev. And if not, you say it's only lechatchila, but you have it otherwise. So this idea of Shana Alav HaKosov tells me that by Kodshim you have a concept of lechatchila and diavad, even min Torah. This is the way the Maharal tells us in Etzach Yisrael Perek Memches. The idea of Shana Alav HaKosov means that when you're doubling something, it means it has to be. If you do it only once, it means it has to be. This idea is only by Kodshim. You have the lechatchila and you have b'diavad. So now that we have these two sources, now let's take one step forward. We spoke in the beginning of the Masechta, where Rabbi Seir teach us that what's going on in Beis HaMikdash is unique because Beis HaMikdash is the nucleus of the world. So that's why we learn all Hilchos Shabbos from the Meleches HaMishkan, because the whole world is included within the Mishkan and the Mikdash. And that's why Seder Kodshim is called Chochmah. The Gemara in Shabbos Daf Lamed Aleph tells you Chochmah is a Seder Kodshim. Because we talk about the source, we talk about what's going on in the mindset, in the nucleus of the world. That's why Machshava presells by Kodshim. By Kodshim, Machshava is something that can ruin something. And other avodas, on other mitzvahs, Machshava is not so effective. But by Kodshim, Machshava is much more effective. And the idea is that by Kodshim, we're talking about where things are the pnimius of Yotzei Hashem. We're dealing here with Kodshim. We're dealing here with thing of Gedusha. We're in the Heichal Hashem. Outside, we're in the physical external world. And the physical external world, what's called Olam HaMaaseh, it's black and white. Dugma Ladover, as what Reb Tzaddik points out in Maseches Eruvin, we mentioned this in the Shura many times, that we tzad echad, we know the Shivim Panim LaTorah. You can have 70 different ways to understand the Torah. But halacha, there's only one way. Halacha is Lashon Halicha. In Olam HaMaaseh, you can have only one way. I can't have two different opinions that contradict each other. But when I'm talking Olam HaMachshava, in the Olam of theory, in the Olam of the Olam Elyon, there two opposite opinions can coexist. When you go into Olam HaMaaseh, it's only one way. And immediately, that's why when we talk about any other mitzvahs, there's no lechatchila and di'evet. You do it, do you have to do it or not? There's no middle ground. That's why b'chol Torah kulo, the Torah says one time it has to be done even b'di'evet. But by Kodshim, which is the olam of machshava, the olam of the source, there you can have, it could be two sides. You have to do it, but it's only b'lechatchila, not b'di'evet. And maybe you can bring this to our sugya. What is the idea that things that are lomed from different drashos, from a hekesh, from a gershava, from a binyanav, so you may not be able to teach from them? As I saw someone who mentioned this in the following oifen. If I know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu is megale. This is what's supposed to be done. So why can't I learn from here to somewhere else? Yesh loymar, then every other area of Torah, that's exactly how it works. Once the Torah was megale something, I don't care if it was mizgale because of mitzvah fereshes, or it was mizgale through a drasha, it came from a kavachomer, it came from binyanav, it came from a hekesh. I know this concept. This concept was mizgale to me. So now to teach it to another place, and if I know it, I know it. It's like a lechatchila and di'evet. Olam HaMaaseh, it's black and white. You have or you don't have. I have it, so I do. I can learn it. I can continue teaching to the next stage. But by Kodshim, which is Olam HaMachshava, which is Olam HaChochma, so there, I'm not only learning what you need to do, I'm also seeing where it comes from. And if it came from a hekesh is not such a strong drasha like a kavachomer. If it came from a binyanav, that may not be as powerful as a gzerah. When I'm standing in the nucleus, in the source, in the core of where everything is coming from, so there I'm still where everything is being emerged. There's a difference if the idea came from a Meferish pasuk or the idea came from something which is not a Meferish pasuk. It depends which Rasha it is. So that may be the difference. Lomed mina lomed b'chol Torah kulo. Once I know the idea, there's no limitations. I know the idea. It's black and white. But the Kodshim, which were in the Olam HaMachshava, the Chochma, the source, the code of the world, there it's not so pashut. It's not a black and white thing. I have to come and evaluate if this could teach us somewhere else. Anyone who wants to join or to sponsor the Shom Machshava Shiurim, please email shommachshava@gmail.com.